You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/ARTS. Just go to Indeed.com/ARTS right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
Welcome to another episode of our series talking about handmade, historical handmade, and how it changed up until today. We'll be talking about another handmade technique that you can meet in Poland. Enjoy! Today I've got a translation of conversation with Mrs. Eugenia Wieczorek, who has been tatting for over 40 years. Mrs. Eugenia speaks about her life experiences and how tatting became one of them. She is a teacher by profession. Well, she lives in Jarocin and she is a folk artist. In 1980s, the Teachers Club in Jarocin started to operate and Mrs. Eugenia started attending the tapestry weaving classes. After some time, the club started organizing tatting classes, and since she had previous experience with knitting, crocheting, and embroidery, and her mother made pająki, you know, those straw decorations that you find in the previous episode, she decided to try tatting. It turned out that she was so good at that she replaced the teacher and started to lead the classes herself. After some time, Mrs. Eugenia resigned from the classes and started her cooperation with Praktyczna Pani. A literal translation is practical lady. Well, this Praktyczna Pani was the name of the service centers run by Poznań Społem Food Cooperative. To be honest, that's better to use the Polish word as Poznańska Spółdzielnia Spożywców Społem. Well, they had a wide range of services and courses, training and demonstrations. In 1983, Mr. Paweł Kostów from Cepelia came to Mrs. Eugenia and proposed her to take part in the Cepelia competition. Mrs. Eugenia made 4 works: a collar, an oval, a round, and a square napkin. And for 32 or 33 people, she won a second prize as a beginner. The Mosina woman who received the first prize didn't want to believe that Mrs. Eugenia had been tatting for only 3 years. After this competition, she started working with Cepelia, and every year she won prizes in competitions and took part in exhibitions. In 1989, she even received the first prize. Her daughter won the 3rd one, and a student from Practical Lady received the honorable mention. After 89, Cepelia transformed into ALT Cooperative, where Mr. Godziewski became the president and offered Mrs. Eugenia further cooperation in tatting. In 1991, Mr. Olszewski called from the Kalisz Museum, and they started their cooperation, exhibitions, and the possibility of selling the products at the craftsman fairs. Mrs. Eugenia also had exhibitions in museum, the House of Culture, or the retirement home, in libraries in Jarocin and its surroundings. In 1998, Mrs. Eugenia became a member of the Association of Folk Artists. Mrs. Eugenia sent photos of her works, copies of diplomas, and went with the Center for Culture and Art in Kalisz to the National Fair of Folk Art and Folk Groups in Lublin. The ladies from the Association of Folk Artists came to the fair to see the works and admitted they have never seen such beautiful tatting works ever before, and they made Mrs. Eugenia a member of STL. She started to take part in competitions organized by the STL and received numerous awards. She was, for example, in 2013 awarded the Skolberg Prize for Merit of Folk Culture. And Mrs. Eugenia also has numerous medals, Mauritius for Polish cultures, Mauritius for Wielkopolska, and Cepelia medals. Yeah, I know, this intro was long, but I felt that it would miss something if I didn't mention. But what exactly is tatting? Well, the translation of the Polish equivalent Frywolitka means something light, airy, and pleasant, pleasing to the eye, and was already known in ancient times. This lace was already made in ancient Egypt or Rome. It reached Europe in the 16th century. In the 18th century, it reached Spain, Italy, England, France, and Germany. And in the 18th century, it reached Poland, actually Western Poland. And then in Jarocin, the sister of Saint Elizabeth took it up, started tatting and teaching it. One time, Mrs. Eugenia got a pre-war magazine called Bluszcz from her friend, and then there was a picture of a tatted napkin. So she made it just looking at the photo. Just imagine. To start tatting, you need to have a tatting shuttle. They were once hard to get, so Mrs. Eugenia's husband made shuttlers for her modeled on those he saw during the workshops. To make a tatting piece, you need a shuttle, a crochet hook, scissors, and threads. You wind a thread on the shuttle and make knots. Tie a circle and make the appropriate number of knots. All knots are tied in one direction. You have to count everything. When you make a mistake, you have to cut, but very skillfully. Typical patterns are traditional, for example, grape, daisies, various ornaments, and insertions. Mrs. Eugenia draws patterns on paper, or if she makes a napkin, she draws them on paper through carbon paper. The pattern is created in the head, hands, and heart. You must have a sense for it like Mrs. Eugenia. She also runs workshops which arouse considerable interest. One of the students is a member of Association of Folk Artists. It takes about 20 days, 8 hours each, to make a napkin about 20 centimeters in diameter, about 8 inches. The tatted napkin is lightly starched and ironed through a wet cloth. Tatting is one of the most difficult forms of lacing. I hope I got you interested in this technique. I must admit that we are very proud of artists such as Mrs. Eugenia, and I can only incentivize you to take a look at the materials on the project's website in order to have the idea of this technique. See you in another episode.